Good morning. This is Bashad Mitchell coming to you live from my YouTube channel as I continue on my part series. The week that was college football history review, the 1969 college football season. I'll be talking about the overview of the 1969 college football season, as well as go over the milestones, some of the milestones, things of that nature, the preseason poll for the top 20, and obviously week one of the games that were played during the 1969 college football season. So let's get into it. 1969 college football season was the year of Beano's crystal ball, Nixon's number one, and football's centennial. Roone Arledge of ABC made the first college football decision of 1969, and President Richard Milhous Nixon made the last. To some, the decisions affecting the 1969 football season didn't stop hurting until years later when Penn State coach Joe Paterno cracked, "I don't know how Richard Nixon could know so much about college football in 1969 and so little about Watergate in 1972," referring to Nixon's claim that he had little to do with the Democrat headquarters break-in scandal that forced his resignation from the nation's highest office. Orledge, president of ABC Sports, set things in motion in the spring by asking network sports publishers Beano Cook to analyze the upcoming season. Cook foresaw three big events: preseason number one Ohio State being taken out of the national title race with the loss to Minnesota, Arkansas handing Texas its only defeat in midseason, and Arkansas beating undefeated Penn State in the Cotton Bowl to win the national championship. Cook's crystal ball turned out to be surprisingly clear. Ohio State lost a Big Ten game to knock it from the number one roost, and Penn State went undefeated for a second straight year. Instead of Minnesota, it was surprising Michigan that beat Ohio State at season's end, as new Wolverines coach Bo Schembechler began his 10-year rivalry with mentor Woody Hayes by springing a 24-12 upset to end the Buckeyes' 22-game winning streak. Prior to the Wolverines' stunning upset of Ohio State, there were murmurs of the Buckeyes perhaps being the greatest team ever to play college football. Orledge, however, threw a curve that changed the fortunes of Arkansas, Texas, and Penn State. He induced Arkansas and Texas to postpone their Southwest Conference showdown scheduled for October 18th until it could be nationally televised as a season-ending extravaganza on December 6th. The Arkansas-Texas matchup was a classic, with the winning Longhorns rallying from a two-touchdown deficit in probably the greatest Southwest Conference game ever played. It pitted undefeated teams ranked as the top two in the nation. President Nixon attended the contest in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and decreed the game as a de facto battle for the national title. No matter what Penn State accomplished in its 22nd straight win, a 10-3 Orange Bowl victory over number 6 Big 8 co-champion Missouri, it could do little to overhaul Texas. 1 point winner over Arkansas in the polls. So after all, the President of the United States says so. So in theory, the Nittany Lions were in position to go in the Cotton Bowl to try to knock off number 1 Texas. Speculation about Penn State going to Dallas propped up in the news as November drew to its midpoint. As an independent, Penn State was unfettered, so a bold commitment and could cut nearly any deal it wanted. But bold officials pushed for a decision, and the Nittany Lions had to make known their New Year's Day choice before the outcomes of Arkansas, Texas, Michigan, and Ohio State were known. Ohio State, bowl ineligible under the Big Ten's no repeat rule, was number one at invitation time, likely to stay there, assuming, as everyone did, that it would beat Michigan. Nittany Lions coach Joe Paterno always said that he left the bold decision to his players. They chose to visit the beaches of Miami for a second straight year, even though it was normal procedure in those days to go after the highest ranked opponent. Now, Penn State chose to skip a chance to play the Arkansas Texas winner, an opponent sure to be no worse than ranked second. Penn State had several black players on its roster, and the preference was to avoid Dallas, still perceived as a racially segregated city. Meanwhile, Notre Dame suddenly, surprisingly, reversed its 45-year policy of shunning bowl games, so Fighting Irish made it known to the Cotton Bowl its interest in a showdown with the winner of Arkansas and Texas, which in Texas turned out to be a top-rated team. Notre Dame versus Texas had a genuine marquee value, and the game attracted a terrific television audience. In a rebuilding year, Ara Parseghian's Irish turned out to be very much capable of a competition with Texas. The Longhorns won a nail-biting 21-17 thriller. It proved the Irish were better than their rank. They actually jumped from ninth to fifth in the post-bowl polls despite losing the Cotton Bowl, and it opened the door for future postseason trips by Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish tremendous TV drawing power changed for many years how bowl promoters managed their selection process. From January 1st, 1970, forward. A bold committee's dream focused less on two teams with deserving records and more on building an appealing TV matchup. All across the nation, the centennial anniversary of the first collegiate contest was celebrated with many teams sporting 100-year helmet logos. Rutgers and Princeton, which first met on November 6, 1969, staged a renewal at New Brunswick, New Jersey on September 27. The Scarlet Knights invited their one-time quarterback and highly popular TV dad, Ozzie Nelson, to oversee the festivities. It turned out to be a happy day for Rutgers as it beat their in-state Ivy League adversary for just the 10th time in 60 tries since 1869. Turmoil, the hallmark of the 1960s, cropped up at Wyoming when 14 black players broke team rules prior to the game with Brigham Young to protest the Mormons' church policy towards blacks. The players were dismissed from the squad by coach Lloyd Eaton. The Cowboys crushed BYU 40-7 and followed with a sixth straight win, but the incident gradually tattered team spirit. Wyoming dropped its last 4 games. Similar revolts by black players occurred at Indiana, Iowa, and disintegrating Washington, where Coach Jim Owens' daughter was run off the road and attacked after Owens dismissed several black players. Hard luck Holy Cross had to abandon the season in early autumn after the hepatitis outbreak crippled the squad. In substantial ways, the Crusaders program that flourished in the early half of the 20th century, when urban Catholic schools enjoyed their heyday, never recovered for the Worcester, Massachusetts school. Holy Cross suffered mostly losing records until they found moderate success after dropping down to Division I AA competition in 1982. Milestones for the college football season, some of them: Middle Atlantic Conference disbanded at end of season, leaving Bucknell, Delaware, Gettysburg, Lafayette, Lehigh, Muhlenberg, and Temple to pursue various levels of independence. Longest winning streak entering the season: Ohio State had a 14-game winning streak, Penn State had an 11-game winning streak, Texas had a 9-game winning streak. Coaches changes: Arizona, Bob Weber; Baylor, Bill Beal; Cincinnati, Ray Callahan; Kentucky, John Ray; Louisville, Louis Corso; Maryland, Roy Lester; Michigan, Glenn Bowles Schembeckler; Navy, Rick Forsano; Oklahoma State, Floyd Gass; and Pittsburgh, Carl DePasqua. AP preseason poll looked like this. Number 1 was Ohio State preseason number 1. Number 2, Arkansas. Number 3, Penn State. 4, Texas. Number 5, Southern California. 6, Oklahoma. 7, Houston. 8, Georgia. 9, Mississippi. 10, Missouri. 11, Notre Dame. Number 12, Michigan State. Alabama. 13, 14, Indiana. 15, Tennessee. 16, Stanford. 17, UCLA. 18, Purdue. 19, Minnesota. And 20, Auburn. Let's get started. The season started on September 13, 1969, where Wake Forest beat North Carolina State 22-21. Demon Deacons, hoping for winning era under coach Cal Stahl, started in right direction with late game heroics. NC State quarterback Darrell Moody led 312-yard ground attack with 3 touchdowns running to build a 21-7 lead in third quarter. Wake Forest sophomore quarterback Larry Russell, who had thrown 31-yard touchdown pass to end Don Cobb's in first quarter, brought Deacons to within 21-14 with 17-yard touchdown run in third quarter. Then Wake Forest went 40 yards as Russell hit a 17-yard pass, and halfback Steve Bowden plunged 1 yard to score with 5 seconds left. Gambling Deacons got winning 2 points on Russell's pass to halfback Buzz Leavitt. Air Force beat Southern Methodist 26-22. Air Force soared to Hampton 23-0 halftime lead as quarterback Gary Baxter scored on runs of 2 15 yards, and kicker Dennis Lofthauser kicked field goals of 44, 33, and 34. Meanwhile, Philadelphia's defense, led by defensive lineman Harold Whelan, placed powerful pass rush on SMU quarterback Chuck Hixon for 8 sacks for minus 63 yards. Mustangs pass blocking improved in the second half to allow Hixon to complete touchdown passes to tight end Ken Fleming, wide receiver Sam Holden, and pair of 2-point passes as fourth quarter opened. SMU trailed 23-16. Bruce Hauser added another field goal, and Air Force linebacker Glenn Lineback made a clinching interception at own 2-yard line with 3:14 left. And finally, UCLA, the number 17 team in the country, beat Oregon State in a shutout 37-0. Bruins launched their new triple option offense to tune of 491 yards. Very early, UCLA's new quarterback, Dennis Dummett, rifled short wide pass to wide receiver Gwen Cooper, who passed the dance pass Oregon State defensive back Don Whitney and streaked 60 yards to score. Beavers halfback Billy Main had 115 yards and 26 carries, got loose for a 52-yard run, but UCLA defense led all night. But defensive linemen Floyd Reese and Wes Grant and linebackers Mike Ballou and Don Whitmer held on its 16-yard line in no time. Bruins halfback Greg Jones had scoring kicker Zennon Anderson had kicked the first of 3 field goals. Little defensive back Ryan Carver, who ran back punts for 3 times for 72 yards, set up Jones' second touchdown, 29-yard punt return. UCLA led 27-0 at halftime. Sophomore quarterback Steve Endicott came off bench to build encouraging second half offense, if not touchdowns for Oregon State. Now the full slate of games was for week 1, September 20th, 1969, where South Carolina beat Duke 27-20. Preseason ACC co-favorites were knotted 10-10 after 3 quarters. South Carolina took 13-10 lead on kicker Billy Dupree's and a 34-yard field goal. The next Duke Gamecocks traded touchdowns. Quarterback Leo Hart connected on his second touchdown pass for Devils, but Carolina regained lead at 20-17 on quarterback Tony Suggs' 48-yard touchdown run. Duke kicker Dave Pugh made 43-yard field goal to tie it at 20-20. And third time Gamecocks had lost lead. Carolina converted pair 4th downs on a winning drive as fullback Warren Murr pilots the decisive touchdown run. Alabama beat Virginia Tech 17-13. Largest to date, Virginia sports crowd of 42,000 saw the Hokies take a 3-0 lead early in the game on kicker Jack Simchak's 19-yard field goal. Now tailback Johnny Musos gave Alabama a 10-3 lead in the second quarter, but it was matched by quarterback Al Kincaid 5-yard touchdown run to knot it at 10-10 at halftime. But defensive back Jerry Cash, midfield from the recovery, launched Bama at winning drive in the third quarter, in which was capped by wide receiver George Renninger's 10-yard touchdown run. West Virginia beat Maryland 31-7. Upset took place as Florida upset number 7 Houston 59-34. Highly regarded number 7 Houston Playboy preseason choice for number 1 fell helplessly to Florida's sophomore area battery of quarterback John Reeves and wide receiver Carlos Alvarez. Reeves passed 18 for 30 for 342 yards and 5 touchdowns. Alvarez caught 6 passes with touchdowns of 70 and 21 yards. Once Cougars' offense spurted in the first half thanks to 2 fumbles and an interception touchdown return by another gave the super sophomore speedy defensive back Jimmy Barr. Houston didn't get rolling until it trailed 38-6 in third quarter. Quarterback Kim Bailey pitched 4 touchdowns and 3 were grabbed by outstanding wide receiver Elmo Wright. Louisiana State beat Texas A&M 35-6. LSU coach Charlie McClendon, now with 8 straight wins and season openers, had such an easy time that he sent 3 quarterbacks, Mike Hillman, Buddy Lee, and Butch Dewey, into the fray with success. Hillman and tailback Art Cantrell clicked on pass for game's opening touchdown early in the second quarter. The reception gave Tigers 14-0 lead at halftime as wide receiver Andy Hamilton looped around to take pitch out and scampered 15 yards to score. Lee led next score for Tigers, short plunge for fullback Dale Walker, which quickly was followed by fumble by Texas A&M quarterback Jimmy Sheffield. Cantrell added his second touchdown and score was 35-0 when Aggies finally dented score sheet on quarterback Rocky Self's 7-yard aerial to tight end Ross Buchbacher. Number 11 Notre Dame beat Northwestern 35-10. Wildcats surprised Full House at Notre Dame Stadium by clawing to early 10-0 advantage on kicker Bill Planasek's 44-yard field goal after defensive back Rick Tanlander interception, fullback Mike Hudson's 6-yard touchdown run. Halfback Ed Ziegler turned Notre Dame in right direction with 46-yard scamper off right tackle Gary Cole's block, and with 15-yard personal foul penalty tacked on, Irish soon found themselves at Northwestern 5-yard line for quarterback Joe Theismann's 5-yard touchdown skirt of end. Notre Dame went 96 yards late in the first quarter, tallying on Ziegler's 18-yard run, which was, according to the Chicago Tribune, the kind of touchdown run you see in the movies. Northwestern hung on, and it wasn't until second play of fourth quarter that Irish defensive back Brian Lee Wallen darted and breathed 44 yards on a touchdown return on a punt for secure 21-10 edge. Sophomore defensive end Walt Petrusky recovered fumble by Cats quarterback Dave Shelbourne at Northwestern 38-yard line to launch 9 straight runs and Theismann's 8-yard touchdown pass to fullback Bill Bars. Missouri, number 10 team in the country, beat Air Force 19-17. Trailing 16-7 in the third quarter, Air Force pulled within 6 points on kicker Dennis Ruthhauser's 18-yard field goal. With only 32 seconds left, Falcons quarterback Gary Baxter dramatically pitched a 22-yard touchdown pass to end Charlie Longnecker for the 17-16 lead. Air Force kicked off. Resilient Missouri quarterback Terry McMillan pulled off his own drama with 24 seconds left, throwing a 56-yard pass to John Henley at Falcons' 21-yard line. After 2 quick runs to 12-yard line, the Tigers kicker Henry Brown wooded 30-yard field goal, his Big 8 record-tying 4th three-pointer in the game. Next, Purdue, number 18 team in the country, beat Texas Christian 42-35. Quarterback Mike Phipps was highly effective in leading Purdue's 35-7 lead in third quarter. Phipps ran for the touchdown, then aimed 4 scoring air strikes of varying length and style. Longest for 67-yard bomb to halfback Stan Brown. Oddest was double deflection of off fullback John Bullock to TCU defensive back to wide receiver Greg Finner. Horned Frogs got third quarter lift on another fluke play as quarterback Steve Judy flung long pass. He was hit by unrushing Boilermakers defensive lineman. Ball popped toward the sideline with surprise TCU fullback Sammy Rabb caught it and ran 35 yards to unmolested touchdown. Inspired Frogs used the second touchdown catch by wide receiver Lindsey Cole and his 70-yard punt return for a touchdown to shave the deficit to 42-35 with ample 44-48 to play. But Phipps guided Purdue's ball control series to end it. Arizona State beat Minnesota, the number 18 team in the country, 48-26. Minnesota, two sports star in football and defenseman in hockey Jim Carter opened scoring with a 5-yard touchdown run in the first quarter and added 7-yard touchdown run in the second quarter. Arizona State halfback Dave Buchanan then went to work, accounting for 4 touchdowns. Buchanan raced 62 yards with punt touchdown return, found his way for 10 and 9-yard touchdown runs, pitched option touchdown pass to wide receiver Calvin Demery for 29 yards. Demery set new Arizona State University reception record with 11 catches for 201 yards, and some that was compiled 446 yards in the air, another to-date school record. Oregon beat Utah 28-17. Brigham Young beat Colorado State 22-20. Sophomore kicker Joe Liljenquist's powerful foot delivered 5 field goals for BYU. And meanwhile, Colorado State received 3 touchdowns from halfback Lawrence McCutcheon. McCutcheon blasted over twice in 13-13 first half. BYU took 19-13 lead, but Rams traveled 83 yards late in the fourth quarter as McCutcheon caught 3-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Chip Maxwell for 20-19 lead. Halfback Bill Glatch returned ensuing kickoff 26 yards to own 41-yard line to launch late Cougars proud. Quarterback Mark Lyons hit fullback Chris Redding twice for 39 yards to reach Rams' 6-yard line. With 15 seconds left, Liljenquist connected on a winning 27-yard field goal. Colorado State missed 2 terrific opportunities when it started at BYU 18-yard line and 34-yard lines, but missed field goal and 4th down pass. Next, number 5, Southern California beat Nebraska by a score of 31-21. USC was highly efficient behind quarterback Jimmy Jones as sophomore newcomer from Pennsylvania fired touchdown passes of 45 yards to wide receiver Bob Chandler and 4 yards to fullback Charles Evans. Mixed in was stellar running by another sophomore named tailback Clarence Davis by 114 yards rushing on 27 carries behind the blocking of guard Fred Kasijan and tackle John Vella, and Southern California cruised to a 28-7 lead at the end of the third quarter. The only mark of Troy's visit to Loud Lincoln was Jones' second fumble that led to a 2-yard touchdown run by Nebraska quarterback Van Browsen, who had otherwise up and down day, rushing for only 13 yards on 15 carries and passing 7 of 11 for 61 yards. Of course, not counted among Trojan's blunders was Jones' apparent crouching of scrimmage line on second quarter pass that set up touchdown for 21-7 at halftime edge. It had Memorial Stadium crowd howling when it went uncalled, but Trojans couldn't stand prosperity without much pass rush thanks to injury, absence of defensive tackle Al Cowlings, and outbreak of pass interference fouls. USC was hit for a pair of touchdowns in fourth quarter. Leading way for Nebraska was backup quarterback Jerry Tagg, who passed effectively and scored a touchdown. Trailing 28-21 with 2:15 left, Huskers took over on their 32-yard line, but Tagg was intercepted to set up field goal by Troy defensive back kicker Ron Ayala. And finally, number 4, Texas beat California in a shutout 17-0. Crushing ground game, which was 311 yards on the ground of Texas, provided 14-0 lead at halftime. Sophomore halfback Jim Burleson circled right in for 11-yard touchdown, and quarterback James Street rolled out for 5-yard touchdown. California adjusted its defensive assignments at halftime and stiffened it second half, allowing only kicker Happy Fellows' 32-yard field goal. At the Bears quarterback Randy Humphries lost fumble. In the last 3 minutes, Golden Bears running back Bob Darby broke away for a 45-yard run, which accounted for 35% of Cal's rushing total before being wrestled down at Longhorns' 21-yard line. Waiver provoked Texas defenders rushed Bears back to the 34-yard line and took over on downs. Now that concludes a look at week 1 of the college football season. The games are played on September 13th, 1969, but September 20th, 1969 was the full slate, truly a full, games that were played in week 1, truly week 1 of the season of 1969. The AP poll, September 22nd, looked like this. Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Penn State. Number 3, Arkansas. Number 4, Texas. 5, Southern California. 6, Oklahoma. 7, Georgia. 8, Mississippi. 9, Notre Dame. 10, Indiana. 11, Missouri. 12, Florida. 13, Michigan State. 14, UCLA. 15, Alabama. 16, Purdue. Number 17 was Auburn. 18 was Arizona State. 19, Tennessee. And number 20, Michigan. So that concludes a look at the games that were played, the overview of the 1969 college football season, and the games that were played on September 13th, 1969, including the games that were played on September 20th for the true week 1 of the 1969 season, starting on September 20th. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Do reveal some attitude tomorrow. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Do whatever you can to support the channel. Deeply appreciate it. Until then, talk to you soon.